I left a party after a stupid prank, and it tore my family apart. For as long as I can remember in my family, almost any time I got up from my seat someone would take it, either to be funny or to claim it as if no one was using it. And as a teenager it literally got to the point I bought my own folding chair so I could pick it up and carry it with me. If I left it where it was, someone would take it and then get mad when I wanted it back. As an example, on a holiday last year I got up from my chair for a moment to help with something and came back to find a kid in it. Then the family berated me for wanting them to move. But I tell them that when a man owns and brings his own chair, he expects to be able to use it. I own a very nice folding chair that's comfortable and easily portable, and I pretty much bring it to any family events because people are always scrambling for chairs. Well, the other day I went to a birthday party for my nephew. Like always I brought my own chair. But at some point I had to use the bathroom, and when I came back my chair was gone. Everyone acted like they didn't know where it was. I said they had 1 minute to return it or I was leaving. They laughed at first but then realized I was serious as I started going for the door. Everybody told me to just calm down and it was just a joke. I said I don't care if they think I'm a stick in the mud. I wouldn't be bringing my own chair all the time if other people weren't always taking my seat when I get up. I don't think it's funny, I never did. My brother-in-law then pulled the chair out of where he'd hidden it, and when I got it back one of the legs was bent. I said it was not like this before, and how could he possibly have done this to a metal chair? He said he could fix it and tried to unbend it, but only made it worse. The chair is pretty much unusable now because the leg is warped and I don't want to risk putting weight on it. I told my brother-in-law he owes me $50 for the chair because that's what I paid for it 2 years ago. He got mad and kept saying it was just a stupid chair. I said it was my stupid chair, and this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't so immature that he and everyone else had to mess with me for years about where I sit. Then I took my now messed up chair and walked out. I wish I knew how much drama this would one day cause. Update, I left a party after a stupid prank, and it tore my family apart. Well, things escalated a lot after I made my last post because I sent it to my parents and other family members after a little while. They were furious with me at first. Some even mocked me saying things like, "Oh, watch what you say or do around him. He might just post about it on Reddit." But when they actually read the comments on my post when I made them, they became mortified. My brother-in-law did agree to pay for a new chair and gave me the money I asked for. I bought a better folding chair than my last one and resumed going to family functions. But whenever I was there was this air about some of the family members. They looked at me like I'd sucked all the fun out of the room. My parents had stopped thinking the chair thing was funny, and even scolded a kid for taking my seat when I got up to use the bathroom. The only problem is that this kid was my nephew. And he started crying when they made him get up. My brother-in-law came to the boys' rescue, and my nephew ended up blurting out that his daddy told him he could do it. When I was out of the bathroom, there was a big fight about it going on. Several family members, including my sister and brother-in-law, were all yelling that it was just a damn chair and I shouldn't be so butthurt about it. My parents demanded to know why they were so butthurt about not being allowed to screw with me anymore. What was their motivation after doing it for so long? It made no sense and wasn't funny anymore. And that's when I intervened. I told them none of this crap would have ever happened if they hadn't been so intent on messing with me when there really was no point to it. I only started bringing my own chair because I could never find a stable place to sit. And if they still thought they were in the right about the situation, then they were just bullies, plain and simple. And what kind of example is that to be setting for your son? My brother-in-law raged, grabbed my new chair and hurled it through the living room bay window. There was a bit of a pause before he realized what he'd just done, then he took off in his car and left my sister and nephew there. My parents got my sister to call him, and over the phone they threatened to go to the police if he didn't pay for the damages. He yelled a few swears until my sister took the phone back. She said that he can either make things right or she'll divorce him. Well, that did the trick because he came back looking like a kicked puppy with his head hanging low. He apologized to me and my parents without even looking at us, said he'd pay for the new bay window and left again. My sister said he drank himself to sleep that night. My new chair was just fine. It took being hurled through a bay window like a champ. There was hardly a scratch on it. My brother hired a window company to come and replace the window. And they had to measure and order a new one before it could be installed. Until then the window had to be covered with plywood. The family was still divided about the situation for a while. Mainly my brother-in-law's parents, my uncle, and a couple cousins blamed me and called me obnoxious for insisting on bringing my own chair and refusing to let anyone else use it. So I compromised. I said that if I had a good designated seat that no one will try to take away, I'll leave my chair in my car. It took 2 more family barbecues before they finally agreed to this. Since then I've left the chair in my car unless there really wasn't enough seating. And that's only happened once since. The problem is that even though they stopped screwing with me, they were still screwing with each other until things went too far. They still like to take each other's seats, but I guess others were following my example because they put their feet down and demanded it stop. It's been going on for decades, and they've had enough. My brother-in-law stayed out of the fight entirely and hasn't caused any more trouble. But for several family functions a number of people didn't bother to show up. My mother was broken up about it because she loves hosting parties. It took months, but everything more or less normalized again. Without the chair thing going on, some have resorted to other stupid pranks like a little device you hook to a chair that makes farts. They didn't do this to my seat, but did it to a cousin. This cousin got really petty at the next party and let out real farts. He said he ate a whole pack of fiber bars and had eggs for breakfast. It was damn nasty. Other pranks included hiding eating utensils, a stink bomb, hiding some sort of monster thing in the toilet, putting cellophane in a doorway, ripping paper when somebody bends over, messing with drinks, hiding shoes, and finally the one that really infuriated my aunt and uncle when a party was held at their house, a glitter bomb. They got the carpet professionally cleaned and billed the person who made the glitter bomb for it. So now pranks are just over. They don't want any more, and I'm fine with that. But the last few family functions have been a bit dull. Of course, things were only calm for a little while before even more trouble started up. Update 2, I left a party after a stupid prank, and it tore my family apart. The family pranks I described had seemingly stopped, but some of them slowly resumed. However, they were only harmless little things that just gave me chuckles. The only person that they refused to prank at all was me, due to previous events. Of course, that didn't stop their entitlement. The 7-year-old son of one of my cousins stole my phone during a family birthday party at my parents' house and intentionally broke it rather than return it. His parents were already going through a rough patch. My cousin's father was constantly clashing with his wife over how to parent their child. His now ex-wife was a bad enabler of their son. She's also terrible with money, and has a very her way or the highway attitude, and she doesn't like to back down when wrong. She was one of the more outspoken people that hated me bringing my own chair and never sharing it, although she never got physical about it. She once confronted me and said that if I was going to bring my own chair, it should be something nice and made of wood that doesn't fold. I told her I was not going to lug around a dining room chair wherever I go when a folding chair takes up only a little space in my trunk. She argued with me about it more, and got nowhere. None of the family events were at her house, and she does not dictate my life. She gave me death glares for months but otherwise left me alone. The night her son stole my phone, he'd already been grounded from electronics by his father. The kid took my phone when I set it down on a table to eat some cake, and he ran off with it when I wasn't looking. He holed himself up in the master bedroom closet and was trying to install new gaming apps on my phone. That closet had a lock on the door and the key was lost years ago. The brat refused to come out or return the phone. His mother kept telling us all to just leave him alone and let him game on it. But I refused and said my phone was not his toy. The brat was told several times to open the door and he refused. All the while his mother kept contradicting everything said. My cousin got fed up and started forcing the old door open. It's an old manufactured home, and that door was pretty flimsy. Just as he was making headway, we heard loud banging sounds from inside the closet. The brat had started banging my phone against the nearest hard object he could find. The brat let out some loud screams as his dad pulled him out of the closet. The screen on my phone was nearly destroyed. Thankfully the rest of it was protected by the case. My cousin's wife tried to blame it on me, and said it was my fault her baby broke the phone because I wouldn't let him game on it. Everyone in the room turned on her and she shut up out of cowardice. It cost around $300 to repair my phone and I had to use a temporary one till mine was fixed. Thankfully, my cousin paid for the repairs. Well, the rest of the family knew about my cousin's wife's disdain for folding chairs like the one I keep in my car. And they decided to pull a prank on her because of her attitude after the incident with her son stealing my phone. I would like to be clear that I was not involved in this in any way, nor did I really condone doing it. But the entire thing was out of my hands. My cousins got together and decided to prank that girl and got their hands on a whole bunch of folding chairs. Then they removed every chair and seat in her house and replaced them with the folding chairs. Folding chairs at the dining table, folding chairs at the counter, folding chairs in place of the living room furniture, and more were strategically placed around the house. Even the chairs on the porch were replaced with them. When my cousin's wife came home, her reaction went far beyond what anyone thought. Their plan was to just record her having a tantrum and get a laugh. But she ended up going insane on the spot and tried to get a knife from the kitchen to attack her husband with. When she couldn't get the knife, she pulled out pepper spray from her purse and used it on everybody. Then she attacked her husband with her long fake nails. She probably would have tried to claw his eyes out or something, but thankfully one of the other guys there kicked her off him. I couldn't believe this poop happened all because of folding chairs. I feel like the root cause since I'm the one who was always bringing my own chair to family events since there was never enough seating and people kept taking the places I was sitting. And it escalated far beyond me. Police were obviously called, the wife got arrested, all the guys there had to go to the hospital because of the pepper spray in their eyes, and my cousin had to get all the scratches to his face treated. He looked like a bobcat attacked him. He filed for an immediate order of protection against his wife. They'd recorded everything, like her trying to get the knife and screaming she'd stab somebody. She had to go stay with her sister after spending some time in jail, and her sister I hear is as narcissistic as she is. My cousin obviously filed for divorce, and his wife later spent some more time in jail after pleading guilty for the assault. She wasn't allowed near her son for a while and tried to take it out on my cousin in court during the divorce. That did not go in her favor because he was easily able to prove how unhinged she is. My cousin got primary custody of his son and his ex got only supervised visitation since she was so mentally unstable. She's pretty much abandoned her son, and has shacked up with some fat older man, gotten a serious tan and bleached her hair. I guess she'd rather live the life of a sugar baby caked in makeup. My cousin's son was put through counseling and listens to his father more now. The kid has to be babysat a lot since my cousin has to work. The last time I babysat him, he took my phone again but didn't end up smashing it. That's progress.